I would like to talk about actual useful prediction. Through federated learning, create models that we implement once and that give you actionable predictions for many, many outcomes. So the work that I'll be presenting today is mostly done by these two people, by Eik and Jenna. You saw Eik earlier today. He was chairing the lightning talks. Jenna, unfortunately, isn't here today. And both of them are leaders in the Odyssey patient-level prediction work group. So the idea of patient-level prediction is very exciting, right? The idea that we could give a crystal ball to the doctor and she could use that to see in the future of the patient. And if she sees anything bad, maybe actually help prevent that. However, the reality of prediction research is very different. We have lots of people that develop models. They get a high AUC, greater than 0.7. They write a paper, and there it ends. The paper ends up on a big pile, collecting dust, and maybe it gets cited, but it certainly never helps patients get better. And the reason for that, well, the multiple reasons for that, but one of them is it's actually very hard to implement prediction models in practice. And the patient-level prediction workgroup in Odyssey is very aware of this problem, and they're trying to solve this. And I think one of the nice earliest successes that they had was this model, the seat cover model, which can predict certain serious outcomes in patients with COVID. And what you're seeing here is not just the model, it's the actual implementation of the model. So a doctor can just print this piece of paper, fill it in with a piece of pencil, and get the prediction for that patient. So it directly is applicable in the care setting. And also it's a very simple model, which makes this easier to implement. And so Eik has, one of the abstracts that I picked for the O factor is by Eik that he submitted to this symposium where they actually revisit this seat cover model and showed that it still works surprisingly well. AUC is still above 0.7 and actually seems to have gone up a little bit over time, which is kind of surprising, but interesting. And so Jenna has built on this work of making simpler models by selecting 67 predictors that can be used to predict many, many different outcomes. And she also selected these predictors to be things that are easily observable in the EHR. So with these 67 predictions, you can predict a lot of things. As she showed it, you actually can predict it pretty much as good as if you had hundreds or thousands of predictors. Eik and Jenna also submitted this other abstract to this symposium about federated learning, where they showed that they could learn these models across the Odyssey network or across multiple databases and showed that that gets just as good performance as when you fit it while pooling data. So the idea of federated learning is that you fit a model across all the sites without having to share patient-level data. So you get a single model that hopefully is generalizable to all these situations, but you don't have to actually share data. So hopefully a robust model that we can fit. So here's my proposal, my pitch for the O factor, is that we use Jenna's 67 universal predictors, and we use those to create prediction models not for 1 or 2 outcomes, but for hundreds of outcomes, all things that we might care about. We fit models for these outcomes using federated learning across all of the Odyssey sites. So not just 1 or 2, but dozens or hundreds. I don't know how many we have. And what is the benefit of this? What will we get for that? Well, these models will then be easy, quote unquote, to implement in your care settings. So remember that in your care setting, you probably don't have OMOP, or I hope you don't have OMOP, because OMOP CDM is for research, not for care. And so in your care setting, you will need to implement these 67 prediction factors, but once you have those, then you can predict many outcomes, and you probably don't want to show all of them to the doctor, but just the ones that are most serious or most actionable. And because they are fitted across all of Odyssey, those would be generalizable models that hopefully will work in all of these settings. So hopefully the dream is, at the end, if we do this, we can provide the doctors and patients with an actual tool that can help predict the future. Thank you.